Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rimworld. Rimworld is a construction and management simulation video game currently being developed by London Studios. Um, yeah, it's one of my favourite games to play at the moment. It's not currently on Steam, but it has been greenlit, and I'm pretty sure the next patch will be on Steam. So I'm looking forward to that. I really can't wait. So what is Rimworld? It's sort of like Dwarf Fortress, if you know that game, meets Prison Architect in a game sense. If you don't know either of them, it's similar to the TV show Firefly. Yeah, basically colonists or the colonists that you create land on a barren Rimworld, and this is your job to ensure that they survive, grow, live, learn, and then basically you've got to make sure that they can get off the planet by creating a space rocket. But that is a very, very late thing. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to show you how or what I do. Well, how Rimworld is played, basically. And yeah, this is just going to be a small intro video, and hope that you enjoy it. So first of all, we're going to create a world, because obviously you have to create a Rimworld for your colonists to land on. And we're just going to randomise a seed. VO7P. Sounds like a good one. And this is the world that it's created. This is Nova... I can't pronounce that word. Presupia, yeah. Nova Presupia. And as you can see, it looks like a normal world map with some additions. Up in the north you've got the ice type, you've got the tundra and like boreal forests. Then you've got like desert and plains, forest, rainforest, and more shrubland and desert down here. Looks quite standard for a world. It's quite complicated. Well, not very complicated, but this is... It can be quite complicated to somebody who hasn't seen this sort of thing before. Basically, this is a generated world with numbers, and there's information on the left that tells me about each and any square that I click on here. Each square has its own unique design that's generated, and then basically pick a crash site that you want your people to land on, and you have to survive. More about this in a bit. For now I'm going to create a colony. These are the people that are going to land on the Rimworld. And this is the difficulty system. It's very very intuitive actually. I really enjoy it. First we have classic Cassandra. These are the storytellers. These are the ones that dictate how your progression of the game will go. And classic Cassandra is the very linear, very strong, just standard paced game mechanics. You have Phoebe Chillax, which is sort of for newer, easier players, sort of gonna get easy but gonna ramp up the difficulty later on, but it'll take longer to get to the harder difficulty. And then you have Randy Random. He will not go easy, but he will not go hard. He sort of bounces between the two. He will throw you for whatever you've got. He'll come out swinging, and then he'll lie on his back and say, "What's up?" Basically, he can put the most difficult raid you've ever seen within the first 30 seconds, or, he could just all of a sudden say, "Hey, all of a sudden 12 people want to join your colony." It is as random as that. I've had that happen. So I'm going to stick with Cassandra Classic because that's just how I play. We then have to decide on our difficulty, which is free to play. Basically, the very base builder. Threats are pretty much non-apparent. Then you have base builder. Base builder is slightly harder. It's just you know, it'll let you get on with the main base building, just building your colony and working on survival, and then they'll throw in the occasional threat. Rough is the very linear progression, so picking Cassandra Classic and Rough, which is what I do, is the just very linear, this is how we're going to play. Challenge is definitely hard to play. I've never completed a challenge world, I've never completed a colony that's been on challenge. It is quite hard because you are constantly having to battle things and you don't really have enough time to heal up your colonists before they get taken ill or damaged or whatnot. And then there's extreme, and I've never even played it on extreme purely because I've never been able to beat challenge, and I like to go from one difficulty to the next. So maybe my next playthrough after this one, if this one's successful, will be a challenge, and then after that an extreme. We'll see how things go. It might be on Steam by then, and I'll be doing proper playthroughs. So we selected Cassandra Classic and Rough there, and this is the worlds. I've generated a few before, as you can see a couple of tests that failed, but these are the worlds that you can generate, and this is the one we generated, Nova Precipice. And this is, like I said, it says select landing site now rather than just created world. So we're going to select the site that they land on. Now, basically frozen wasteland or ice sheet and tundra are really hard to play on. For this playthrough I'm not going to play on them, I may at a different time. Ball forest is tricky but not unplayable. There is also temperate forest, which is genuinely what a lot of people start on because it's one of the easiest. There's also rainforest, which is also a very easy one. Then you have desert, desert, extreme desert, and tundra. Oh no, arid shrubland. Sorry, and these three are relatively difficult. They're like medium settings. They're not as hard as playing in the ice. So I'm going to probably stick with. You can't pick any of the ocean tiles, unfortunately. At least I don't think you can. I don't want to try it just in case it does. But I'm probably going to pick somewhere in the temperate forest because I like it as a middle ground. As you can tell, I'm going quite middle ground with a lot of this playthrough, and a lot of the decisions I make will be not as random as I normally play, just so that I can keep this playthrough going a bit longer than my FTL playthrough. And then obviously you can see that there's just flat green, there's a little mounds, and then there's like points. These all relate to different things on the map as well. That's flat land, as you can read here, terrain type flats, small hills, and mountainous. These all have an effect on how the map is generated, and mountainous is genuinely my favourite to play on. It gives you a lot more terrain to work with, and sometimes makes it more difficult to pick somewhere to settle. So I'm probably going to pick somewhere. But there's also location with east and north, elevation, temperature, and this is the important bit, the temperature in January and July, because you don't want it too hot so that your colonists get heat stroke in the summer, but you don't want it too cold so that crops don't grow in the earlier months. You want to start growing crops as early as you can to get the most yield, obviously. Obviously biome, I said temperate forest. Terrain is mountainous, like I said. Rainfall, this doesn't matter too much. Normally a good amount of rainfall would be 2500, between 20 and 2500, so that's good. The stone types just dictates what types of stone are there, so it all comes into art and work in there later. That'll be explained in a couple of minutes. And then obviously the most important bit is the growing period, the period of time that you can grow your crops effectively. so you can see it changed there from 1st to the 11th, 1st of spring to the 11th of fall. Down here, 6th of spring to the 6th of fall. You can tell the temperature does change it. Obviously mountainous is colder, large hills are somewhat warmer, and flat is genuinely up and down. And obviously the lower you go down, the higher the temperature. Very, very hot, and obviously up here, very, very cold. So we're probably going to stick around here somewhere that's a bit too warm. I like this place. Not enough water though. There, I like this place. Not as much rainfall as I'd like, but we can always stick with that. As for advanced, I'm going to click into this, and I'm going to select a larger site. We do get the warning performance may degrade at larger map sizes. I know for a fact that these 6 map sizes work perfectly fine on my PC. Ludicrous doesn't, even on my PC, Ludicrous doesn't, so it even states here that Ludicrous size is untested and will almost certainly not play well. It doesn't work at all on mine. It just has trouble rendering everything. It is quite absurd. So I'm going to stick with this. I like the just above average size map because it just gives you a bit more to explore, but not so much that you will be overwhelmed. And then I'm going to select the site. And then finally, before playing the game, this is the create character sheet. You get 3 colonists. You can obviously randomise them to get better stats. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can randomise them to get better stats, but just a quick overview because this can be quite confusing just, you know, off the bat if you've never seen this game before. You have your the name of the character up here with their nickname. Male colonist tells you their age and their the chronological age, which is how long that they have been, you know, in existence for, and then the biological age is how long that they haven't been cryogenically frozen. Backstory: they have a childhood and adulthood, and these will both dictate some stats. Incapables of, this is normally you want a none for your starters because, you know, if they're incapable of anything, it just slows down productivity. And then traits, you get stuff like nudist, beautiful, too smart, jogger, pessimist, optimist. There's many traits, and as you random, you'll see a few. And then there's the skills. They cap out at 20, and anytime a task is done using shooting, melee, social, animals, medicine, cooking, construction, growing, mining, artistic, crafting or research, their XP goes up. Obviously this person is incapable of intellectual and social, so the social won't be allowed, and intellectual, which would be research, wouldn't be allowed. More about these skills when we actually get into playing the game. As for health, they can occur injuries like lose arms, lose legs, lose eyes, you know, have a frail back, have, you know, a bad toe, something like that. There are silly things like they'll lose their left big toe, so they'll walk a tiny bit slower. It sounds stupid, but that's how it works. Also relationships, they can have relationships with other colonists, not just lover, ex-lover and so on. It can be brother, sister, mother, father, so on. And yeah, so I'm going to hit the randomise button and wait till I can find somebody that's not incapable of anything. As you can see here, relations, son and granddaughter. These particular two. Age 75. Looks like a good colonist because he's got quite a lot of stats, but that's because he's quite old. But he also has frail and a bad back, so he's very, very slow. And I don't particularly want my first settlers to be dead within 5 years. Randomise some more. This one doesn't look too bad. 16, so got a long time to live, hopefully. Childhood was a story writer, which just gives them +4 to art and +3 to research. adulthood, a navy scientist, so +8 to research, which is always very helpful. Incapable of none, as I said, that is what we hope for. Optimist, I mentioned that earlier. Permanent mood effect is +6. Now their mood is something that dictates whether they're going to kick off or just, continue with everyday life. If their mood gets too low and it stays low for a very long time, they don't particularly like to work, they slack off, and if it gets too low, they'll decide to leave the colony, which is not what you want. Fast walker, that is very, very good because, the faster they move, the faster things will get done. Cold tolerant, which means, he's able to tolerate cold weather a bit better, which is very good. Teenage female colonist, she's very, very good in the cold, which is brilliant. And obviously the skills, very good. The little flame symbol means that they have a passion for it, and their skills will level up faster. So when she's taming animals, doctoring, artistically creating something, crafting recipes, or researching something, her XP will go up faster, obviously making these skills go up faster. So this is a good character, I think we're going to keep her. Next we have Lazy, the novelist, so that's Callie the scientist. This character doesn't look too bad, but he's incapable of dumb labour and social, which is not what I want. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording here, and I'll meet you back when we have some decent colonists. Okay, welcome back. It didn't actually take too long to get these other two characters sorted. You can only ever start with 3, which sometimes makes it difficult. Like as in other biomes, some people die off rather fast, some people don't. But yeah, here we have male colonist Terry, age 27. In the urban urchin world, he was, +2 to shooting, +4 to melee. In adulthood, a military commissioner, +3 to shooting, so he's very good at military-based operations. It's very, very good. Incapable of none, as I said, because it's just important to have your first 3 colonists to not have incapables. We've got another hard worker, so he works just, everything that he does is 20% faster, so I'll probably put him on cooking in the early game, because it's just very, very productive to have him. Fast walker as well, another fast walker, so he's just going to move faster. No health issues, no relations, and that's his stats. I have been hovering over these. You can pause the video and read them at any time. The reason I'm not going to read them out is to try and keep the video as short as possible. And then we have this character. You can rename their nicknames and first names and last names. I'm just going to name it to something that I can actually pronounce. Sammy. That'll do. It's Sammy with 2 Y's, 2 M's. If not, I'm going to spell it like that. Sammy. age 45, so quite a considerable age gap between them all, which is perfectly fine. As you can see, he actually has an old gunshot on his right leg, which does make him a bit slower. As you can see, slow poke, he moves a bit slower than everyone else. So these two are going to be quite fast, and this guy's showing his age. Optimist, +6 mood. I think I explained mood earlier, so it's very good to have him. Yeah, he was the Star Force cadet, and +2 to social, +1 to medicine, -3 to mining, but +2 to research, so very good. And an ace fighter pilot, +3 to shooting, social, and medicine, but +2 to melee and research, but only -3 to mining. So this guy is not any good at mining yet. He basically knows how to swing a pick, and that's about it. But I believe these guys, yeah, they know how to do some mining, which is helpful because you are able to mine to get, precious metals, gold, or jewels, and it is just genuinely helpful because you can build walls out of rock structures. So with these three these three colonists, I think we're going to give them nicknames. Let's see. Actually, Callie was an alright name. With Terry Diaz, 27. He was a military guy, so we'll call him Guns. Terry Guns Diaz. There we go. Sounds like a good one. So we've got Callie, Guns, and Sammy. And we'll start. This is now actually getting into the game, and yeah, when it loads, it'll give a short explanation. The three of you awake from your cryo-sleep casket sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on an unknown Rimworld. As pieces of starship fall around you, you make plans to survive. So, here we see colonists dropping in for the first time, and this is Rimworld. There we have Sammy, Guns, and Callie. If we zoom out, this is zooming. You see, this is a very, very big world, as I like it. Normally, I would only have, you know, probably from the top corner in the left to down about here, so you can see how much extra I would have had. Yep. And yeah, it looks like a fairly open area, which is kind of difficult because you have to defend from all sides. This is why I said mountainous. If you can get an area like this, I mean, I could always move my stuff into here, but I'll explain why I won't in a bit. If you can, you know, that's probably where I'll keep my animals to keep them safe. You can always border yourself in by building walls across, and you know, it makes natural defences. Being out in the open, you have to sort of defend from every side. If you know a raider comes, or if you know, animals decide to attack, which they do in this game, like them deer, they are deer. They can all of a sudden decide to come and attack. Or I think there's man-eating creatures. These down here are basically like if you mixed a sheep with a cow, a muffalo. They produce fur, but they no wool. They produce wool, but they also produce milk. So like cow-sized sheep, I suppose. And then we obviously have our colonists. We also have a pet cat called Dylan. Dylan, the female cat of the colony, aged 4. Not gonna lie, I'm never good at keeping cats. Dogs in this game I can look after because they actually do stuff, but in this, cats don't do anything. They're not very obedient. They don't attack on command. They don't rescue dead downed colonists, and they don't haul anything. Intelligence, none. So it's not even a very intelligent cat. Wonderful. I will be I'll try and keep the cat alive as long as I can. I'll try and keep Dylan alive as long as I can. I'll put his name on so we can always see him as well. But I'm not promising anything. He will most likely die. So these are our colonists, and just quickly, everything on the ground is an item that they can interact with or not interact with. The way you can tell whether they can't interact with it is if they've got this little red X. The little red X, I click over the object, click on this, and the red X disappears, and the colonists can interact with it. But more about that later. I think for now, this is good as an intro video. I'm going to leave it there, and I think I'll catch you later. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.